Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bad Movie Night. My name is Chris, and tonight I checked out that new Amazon Prime movie, Nocturne, a movie about tickling the old ivories a little bit, directed by one Quirke, which looks like it's her first feature, and I think this one is going to be pretty contentious amongst the horror community. So yes, it is a horror movie, very psychological, about two twins who attend I guess, elite art academy where they both play the piano, and both very talented, but one is notably more talented. And the movie is all about obsession and perfectionism and striving for your dreams, and kind of explored in a very dark way, kind of similar to something like Black Swan, I'd say. So you got Sydney Sweeney as the main character, and her sister's played by Madison Iseman, who I recognize from the Jumanji movies. This was an interesting movie, and I kind of enjoyed it. I think, like I said, it's going to be a very contentious one, notably because of the ending, I think. So the production quality of this movie is pretty good. There's a lot of good shots. There's some interesting transitional moments where you have a good mixture of like classical music and then like an infusion of newer music in a way that I thought really worked. There's some cool slow motion sequences. The acting is pretty good. I really like the musical choices they made. Like I said, besides the transitions, they had a lot of classical pieces that they let play out, and I thought they were kind of like hauntingly beautiful a lot of times. And that's kind of how I would describe this movie, is kind of hauntingly beautiful. Maybe that's a little cheesy, but there's the themes of this movie I think are really interesting and sad. I think the main character can be very empathetic. Actually, I think the two sisters can both be empathetic in some ways. So there's that saying that everybody tells their kids that, just follow your dreams, and if you set your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. And that's why this movie's kind of sad and depressing, because it's honestly not true. This main character, Juliet, it's rough, man, because she's young, but she's dedicated her entire life to trying to be an amazing piano player. And in some ways she is. But for whatever reason, there's always somebody better than you. It's just the way the world works. And it's a struggle to see somebody dedicate so much and sacrifice. That's the interesting way they say this a lot in this movie, and it makes sense. In the struggle for perfectionism, or the struggle to be found, or the struggle to be famous, these people are willing to sacrifice everything to just get a glimpse of that. And that's Juliet's journey. And so because this school is so cutthroat, everybody is vying to be the best, there's an element of jealousy that is shown throughout this movie between the two sisters, going between Juliet's struggle because her sister is just better than her. Her sister doesn't practice as much. She doesn't try as hard, but she's just naturally better at something. And then Vivian becomes jealous of her sister because she thinks her boyfriend's starting to like her. So it's like just playing these two off of each other. The supernatural elements are pretty light. They kind of play out when Juliet blacks out and she doesn't remember what happened, but things have occurred. And it's should be noted that a lot of times in this movie, they show her taking anxiety pills. And frankly, I think that's kind of insulting. And one of the reasons why the ending rubs me the wrong way, where it's just a trope at this point to imply that somebody who takes anxiety medication or any kind of medication is automatically like crazy, or in some ways, like now because we see that, she's an unreliable narrator. But I mean, that is what the movie plays out on, and it's kind of frustrating because I think the bones of this movie are interesting, although maybe not too unique. But I really like the way they showcase the theme and the struggle that Juliet goes through to be something that she probably will never be. You also have the narcissistic parents, who are probably the catalyst for everything that has happened to Juliet and Vivian their entire lives, and why they are on the path they are on. Let's talk about the ending. If you haven't seen this, you might want to check out, but I feel like this movie's ending is really going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. It is very ambiguous, and if you require a solid answer at the end of the movie, it's going to be disappointing. I think it can go one of two ways. So throughout the movie, you're seeing supernatural aspects. She finds this book. It's perhaps, in some ways like a deal with the devil, where she gets what she wants and fulfilling what the devil requires. And if you believe that route, then the end would be kind of like a symbolic rebirth for this character, in which the one jumping off the roof is actually the original Juliet, and the one successfully playing the song and becoming the super star that she wants to be is the new one. Or, and I think this is kind of probably the way it actually is, she's just kind of crazy. She's losing herself because of her obsession with trying to be the best, and she's just lost her way, and in the end she kills herself. What the problem here is, that would be fine if they didn't show you people wandering around and not noticing her dead body. It makes it very ambiguous, and I think it's kind of a cop-out, honestly. It doesn't really help with the theme, because, I mean, what we want to say here is, don't lose yourself to your obsessions, or don't give in to an obsession, or don't lose yourself within trying to be something that you can't be, or just lose yourself in anything and just try and live your life and enjoy it, I guess. I don't know. I did think the climax was pretty stressful. There was a moment where she walks out on the stage and I actually had to pause and take a break because there was a lot of anxiety, and I felt it. It was palpable, and I thought it was well directed. So I think this movie can be relatable to a lot of people. I talked about that movie Scare Me a little while ago, and while that movie was about a guy who felt entitled to something simply because he existed, while this movie, her entitlement seems justified. She's worked so hard. She deserves something. And it's frustrating for her, and it's completely understandable when she's sacrificed so much. And the person she's been, looking up to says, maybe you should settle for mediocrity. And what do you say to that? There's nothing to say. It's just how life is sometimes. It's unfair, and it sucks. There was a movie that came out on Netflix, I don't know, earlier this year, I want to say, called Perfection. And in some ways, it was a little bit similar. And I'm really happy this movie didn't play out like that one did, where it just went completely off the rails and stupid. This still maintained a very serious note. And it felt like, while the plot wasn't unsurprising of where it went, I felt like it was necessary for the journey of the character. I liked it. I don't know. I like depressing movies, though, because I'm a depressing person. That's going to do it for Nocturne. It's out now on Amazon Prime, so check it out. Let me know what you think. And then go to my SoundCloud and check out my album from high school, also called Nocturne. Thanks for ripping that off, guys. But that's going to do it, guys. We'll catch you here next time.